live, you are live.
Good morning everybody, and welcome to the northeast corner of soon-to-be sunny South Africa. You find yourselves in the Kruger National Park on a very live dawn safari. The dawn, as you can see, has just broken. I am reclining comfortably on this log, waiting for the sun to come up behind me. My name is James Henry. On camera today is Brian. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, James.
Yes, Brian is some distance from me, as you can see. And in the final control, we've got Kirsten McLennan-Smith on the vocals and Rebecca playing the keys. On the other vehicle, Brent Leo Smith, who is tracking a male lion to the west of where we sit right now, and he is being filmed by the diminutive Paul Kruger, a.k.a. Wiem Durenbrak. Okay, I'm now going to remove myself from this log because there are bits of it spiking into the soft parts of my flesh. If you would like to talk to us during the course of this morning, and we encourage you to do so, please, hashtag Safari Live if you wish to tweet, like some of the Dawn Chorus, which is calling around us right now. Otherwise, you can talk to us on the email, questions at WildEarthTV. And if you wish, are watching on YouTube, which seems to be the most stable stream at the moment, use the YouTube chat stream. And that's how you can talk to us. Ask us questions, give us comments, tell us what you think of Africa, and tell us what you want to see this morning. But first of all, just look at the pinkening dawn sky as it comes up. The sun is about to peep up over the horizon, and of course this is not an experience that we get most of the time, largely because we're either asleep or trying to track something. It's just very lovely, so I think we're going to sit here for a little bit longer. And while I talk quietly to you, just listen to the birds. You can probably hear a few of the doves, the sparrows, there's a woodpecker, there's a crested barbet going. All in the background, the crested francolins going. The sparrows, the birds you can hear going. Choop, 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 choop. They're often the first birds to call. And what I can tell you is that there is a drag mark next to where I'm sitting, which I didn't notice when I got out of the car, made by a hyena dragging some form of hapless prey, possibly back to the den. So I think what we're going to do is follow that for the next little while, simply because we don't know where the den is at the moment. I did check for it on foot yesterday, but didn't manage to find the hyena den. Isn't that just stunning? We'll just wait for the sun to peep up over the horizon. Like I say, for those of you who are new to this game, you're on a live safari, and that means, you know, anything can happen. We don't, well, we try and plan. We have a vague plan when we go out in the morning, but of course, this being the African bushveld, you just never can tell what is going to happen. And so, let's see. My plan was to go to the south of the reserve this morning and see if we couldn't maybe find some evidence of Karula and her cubs, but now that I've found these hyena drag marks, I think we're probably going to have a look and see if we can't find that. But I cannot bring myself, I'm afraid, to start the engine before that sun has popped up over the horizon. It's too beautiful for words. Here it comes. Here it comes. And the building dove chorus seems to be building as the light builds, as that golden horizon's turned. Well, it's now turning gold. It was, of course, very pink. It's going orange, and now it's going gold. And shortly, a little molten light will emerge from between those two trees. Gentle wind blowing. It was a very hot night last night. Unusual, because we're supposed to be, of course, going into the autumn. Come on, sun. Is it coming, Brian?
I think so.
And Brian, on Twitter, you say this is one of the best morning views ever. I have to agree with you. We stop in this particular area quite often, simply because you do get this incredible view out to the east. Come on, sun. We'll hand you over to Nat.Geo Smith as soon as the molten orb of the sun breaks the horizon. Here it comes. Almost expects it to explode up. It isn't up behind the clouds yet, is it, Brian? No.
No.
You can hear a bit of a breeze. There was apparently some kind of rain warning for today. Of course, the old adage goes, red in the morning, shepherd's warning. I don't know about there going to be any rain. It is a sort of warmish 75 degrees Fahrenheit at the moment, which I think is around 21 degrees Celsius. So it's certainly not cold by any stretch of the imagination. The sun is taking slightly longer than I thought it was going to.
Oh, here it comes.
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
Here it comes. There it is, everyone. Hooray. Good morning, Mr. Sun. All right, on that note, let us hand you over to Nat.Geo Smith, who is frantically tracking some lions, and we'll get onto the tracks of these hyenas.
Good morning and welcome to this spectacular sunrise safari. I do apologize if my head is hanging over the door, but I am in search of some of Africa's big cats. So we had male lion tracks earlier. Unfortunately, they went all the way south out of our traverse area. But my friend from the west told me the Nkumas crossed somewhere here last night. I'm just trying to find the tracks. There have been a lot of elephants around, so it is making the tracking slightly more challenging, but welcome on the back, and let's see if we can track some cats together. And I then all-round vehicle stuff. And a morale booster, that is correct. VM is definitely a morale booster. So they were on the Sibambili cut line last night, which is just up ahead. So fingers crossed they didn't just do a little sneak through Djuma and pop into the northern sectors of Buffalo's Hook. I can see, here we go, here are the Nkuma ladies' tracks. Heading due east at the moment. So hopefully, see, they ignored the no entry sign. Bad ladies. So we're gonna just have to do the same. Yes. So the one unfortunate thing about whenever we do find lion or leopard tracks in this area, it is a very small little corner, a top little sliver of Djuma, and they have been known to sometimes just sneak across to our northern neighbor. But there has been quite a lot of pandemonium in between the Salati males and the Birmingham males. So maybe they've decided to stay slightly further to the west, keep their nose out of that fight. So, guys, I had a track here. They might have snuck down one of the game pass there. We've still got one of the ladies here. There we go, she's turning, and that is definitely not a lion. That is a very cute, fluffy baby waterbuck. Now, where's your mum? Now, it is not uncommon for adults to leave these guys by themselves, but normally they're lying down in a bit of a thicket. Now, is this the result of lion pandemonium overnight? That waterbuck have been split and chased about. I'm searching for an adult. I haven't seen one yet. But that little baby does look quite relaxed. Cheryl and Lucy are hoping for wild dogs this morning. Cheryl and Lucy, I hope for wild dogs every morning, every evening, middle of the day, middle of the night. They are by far my most favorite of creatures. Now, looking at this behavior, it is quite jumpy. So it could possibly be the result of the lions chasing things around Sydney's waterhole last night and splitting up the different individuals. And the flies are out nice and early this morning. So what we're hoping, if they have snuck across our northern boundary here, is that they've gone and looped back somewhere further down, which is what they do. They do that quite often. This section to the north now seems to be taken over by the Talamati pride. Having quite a few elephants through here as well, which always makes the tracking slightly more difficult. Yeah, well, that's good news. No tracks heading due north just yet. Maybe they did a sneaky puff at a maneuver. You've got them heading east. That's very good news. Now they just must continue east and maybe cut south. So we're going to keep with them. As I said, the Ellies have come through here quite a bit during the night. Let's just stay with us for a little bit longer. We're going to try see if we can see anything in that open area towards Sydney's waterhole. Anything going that side, Vim? Okay. Let's just go up ahead and have a quick look. I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back and have a check. Let's just quickly peruse the large open plain that is next to. Apologize for the little bit of jumpy signal we experienced there, but we are live in the African bush. So all that can be seen is that lone. There's a lion stalking the waterbuck. There's a lion stalking that baby waterbuck by the looks of things. I can't see, it's a bit far. There we go. I think James Richard was requesting a lion hunt on this exact place. So James, this is for you. Now, I can't really see. That lion's dipped into that little hollow. And as I said, that baby waterbuck being by itself and wandering around is almost certainly from the lion activity in this area last night. Now, Vim, and that brief view we had of that lion, did it look like a male to you? It did look like a male to me as well. So, guys, this is really exciting. I know this could be quite difficult. If you are a little bit squeamish, especially when it comes to babies, you might want to take a little break from the drive, and I think there's a very strong chance of success. A single baby waterbuck alone. Oh, you can just see that lion moving.
It looks like a young male.
Looks like a young male. I wonder which male lion this could be. So I'm just getting my camera settings correct. Oh, baby waterbuck. That was not a good decision. Now, that waterbuck might look for safety in the water. When they are adults and being chased by predators, they often do that. Monkeys have spotted the lion. Look, there it goes. Maybe that baby's gonna get away. Don't go over the damn wall. No, come back. We're not gonna be able to see what goes on. No. Oh, we can just sit and listen now. But what's going on? There's one place we might get a view, and I do apologize, we're going to have to go through not the prettiest area, but around the gate. We might be able to see down the boundary towards the Manuleti. Yeah, all the monkeys going crazy. It could be one of the Birminghams, they do. Some of them don't have the biggest mage, but from this, it's very, very difficult for us to... hopefully we might get another chance at a visual. Oh, he's back. And good for you, little waterbuck. You escaped, so that looks a bit bigger than he did when he was stalking. It does look like possibly one of the Birmingham boys to me.
Guess what? The cat streak's on.
The cat streak's back on. Well done, VM. Well, just a day's break, so off we go to try set another record. Oh, look at that beautiful morning light on that big male lion who got outsmarted by a baby waterbuck. Now, in certain cases, I've actually seen babies that have been disturbed during the night, whatnot, walk up to an animal like a lion, thinking it could be a little bit of safety. Unfortunately, it looks like he's heading back towards us. You can hear the monkey's alarm calling. So they are what first notified that little baby that there was a predator in its midst. There he pops out now. Now, he could be tracking the Nkahuma pride. Oh, have a little drink. You hear the monkeys, lion, 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 lion. Hopefully he does keep walking towards us. Now, the reason he could be tracking the Nkahumas is he might have smelt a female that smells like she's an estrus. Looks like that. Oh. Something gave him a little fright there, and he turned back to have a look. Well, at least we know the outcome of the chase. Now, lions only have about a 12% success rate. So only 1.2 times out of 10 that they chase something, they actually catch it. I thought he had a better than average chance with a young waterbuck like that. But he probably needed to catch it before it got right out into the open there. When it was on the edge of the thickets, he had a little bit more cover. So I did mention a little bit earlier that James Richard requested just yesterday for a lion hunt at Sydney's dam, and he just says he can't believe he got his lion hunt wish. Well, there we go. Ask and you shall receive. Not always, of course. I ask for wild dogs every morning, but I don't always receive. And VM asked for lions, so he's very happy. So we're just going to go pop ourselves over on the other side where we might get a bit of visual as he walks, hopefully, to the south and towards us. So we've just seen that baby waterbuck all alone out in the wild, and Paul Rizzo is wondering, will that baby then probably not. But probably you'll find during the day that that big herd of waterbuck that
I don't know if you can see what we're looking at there, everybody, but just watch carefully and you'll see in the middle a grey shape, and on the right hand side of the thing in the middle, or your left hand side, his right, you can see him moving there. You can see a little tusk and then a snout, and there is a warthog sitting in a hole on his termite mound, thinking that we cannot see him, but we can. Can we not, Brian?
We can indeed.
We can indeed see the warthog. There he is. And normally, of course, they run away as soon as they know they've been spotted in their burrows. He's obviously just popped out to sniff the morning, go and eat some of this lovely green grass. Now, just to keep you updated, let's just watch this warthog for a while. But we have been following the drag mark of those hyenas now for the last, well, what was it, 20 minutes or so, while you've been with Brent, watching that very exciting lion interaction there with the hapless waterbuck. Well, not so hapless, got away, didn't it? Anyway, the drag mark, we're sitting on Gallagher shortcut here. We went to the old Gallagher shortcut den. The drag marks didn't go there. They headed off back towards Aubrey's Road, so we're going to go around the block there and see what's happening on that front. I don't know, I mean, it looks to me like it could well still be on this property. There we go. Realised that we'd been here for too long not to have spotted him. All right. So the lion is still with Brent. He's back with the picture. We're going to carry on round, see if we can find the hyena den. We'll see you just now.
So, Lady Luck is on our side this morning. He seems to be coming the right way. There we go. I'm pretty confident it's one of the Birminghams now, as we can see him a bit closer, and also just from his behavior, the fact that he is scent marking. It does look like he's tracking the Nkahuma girls by scent. So maybe he'll take the tracking duties off my shoulders today. No, you're going the wrong way. Turn around. And he's just giving that quarry bush a good sniff and scent mark. Now, the Birminghams haven't been up here too often in the last couple of months. Now, they've been spending quite a lot of time in the south. And, oh, he's going to roar. This little contact roar he did there. Lots of those little contact claws as he walks directly towards us. Full roar shortly. Oh, magnificent beastie. Oh, look at that light coming onto his face. Okay. Okay. Let's try and get with him again. Chris is wondering, by lying down, did that waterbuck confuse the lion by lying down? I don't think so. I don't think when that waterbuck lay down, it knew that the lion was there. Now, the impala have spotted him. So I was just going to be on the Game Drive channel for a second. Mike. Mike, he has crossed into Vuyatilla, and he is heading straight, sort of southwest, so he might cross into the western sectors. Oh, wait. Still those low contact calls. I wonder if he's not looking for those male lion tracks we were following. I think he's going to have to call a little bit louder than that to reach those other males. But who knows, maybe the Nkahuma ladies are close by somewhere. Time to take a rest. stick out of your way there, Vian?
Yeah.
So Natasha says, what a beauty. Do I think it could be Blondie? I'm not 100% sure, and maybe one of you guys can tell me which Birmingham boy this is. I'm quite sure it is a Birmingham boy, just from his behavior and his size and rough age. So he's probably about 5.5, 6 years old, coming into his prime, and has massive forepaws. I love male lions and all the different scars and scratches and nicks that they carry. It is tough at the top as a male lion. Lots of battles to be fought, not only with interlopers, but with the own members of your coalition. Now remember, guys, that clickety-click is my camera, so we do encourage screenshots and share them everywhere with the hashtag Safari Live. Morning, Goodwill. There's one Unangala just off Sandy Patch near the junction with Bovoso Kakari cut line at Sydney's. So he's probably been moving quite a lot overnight. Oh, look at that light in his eyes. So his ears are still just rotating around listening. Canada Keith says, what an awesome start to the drive. Well, I couldn't concur more. Now, hopefully it can just become more awesome from here. Have that very harsh quack, 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 quack in the background, and that's a Swanson's spur fowl calling. Definitely not the most beautiful bird call in the bush. And then you might also be able to hear a very high-pitched little blue waxbills. So still got a little bit of filling out to do in the mane, but not all male lions develop that full massive mane, and you do have different coloration. You see it's starting to get a bit darker. Such an important part of a male lion, offers huge protection when they are fighting. He's just moving his head from side to side, listening. Hoping to hear either contact calls or alarm calls. You can see the flies already descending. It looks like he's almost closing his eyes to try and keep the flies away. You can just hear the rest of the bush waking up. Crested francolins, Cape turtle doves. Oh, another little contact roar. There's a short break. And isn't this absolutely spectacular, being able to follow this male lion in this absolutely gorgeous morning light. So, lions have obviously a far more developed sense of scent than we do. JB in Michigan is wondering, can he tell which way to go by scent? Most definitely, is if the scent's fresh enough, he'll definitely be able to tell. I'm just gonna zoot on ahead, try to get up ahead of him. Zigzag our way through all these trees that have seen the attentions of the elephants. Oh, he's stopping for another break. Let's try getting this slightly more pleasant spot for us. He's right out in the open. Hey, mister. Here, a woodpecker starting to look for his breakfast. He's listening intently. Well, thanks to Angie in Ohio, who says this is Birmingham boy number 4. So I got a report from the guys up in the Manuleti that one of those Salati males looked like he took quite a beating from the B-boys, or the Brummies, as they are known to most of the guides in this part of the world. So it is going to be quite a scorcher today, I think, with the mercury heading well into the 90s Fahrenheit, 30s Celsius. So there's a strong possibility he's not going to move too much more. I think it's probably already mid-70s in Fahrenheit. And we're not even at 7 a.m. yet. I just need to get hold of James quickly. James. James, Henry, do you copy? Well, it seems like James might be off the vehicle at the moment. Stations of Swanunangala is now lying up just to the west of Sandy Patch Road, and just to the south of Buffelshoek, Gari cut line. 1 station here, 2 making their way. Of course. Oh, there we go. A little contact call again. Oh. On the move again. Try keep up with him. He is heading to an area that is particularly challenging to off-road through because of the amount of trees the elephants have pushed over. So Lynn in Michigan is wondering, could this be the lion that I heard roaring on the Djuma cam this morning? It is possible, but there was another male that walked straight across quarantine during the night, so that could have been him as well. Standing by, Mike. Negative, near Sydney's dam, but now moving southwest towards vertical access. See, he's going into this area where the elephants have pushed over every tree. So I'm just going to have to try stay a little bit wider of him. We'll try stick with him. Keeping a lookout. I thought maybe he might be on the trail of the Nkumas, maybe not. He might have decided that they've gone too far and he's going to go look for the rest of his coalition. Go to position. Copy. My recommendation is take Sandy Patch and come around to vertical access. I'm in the middle of the block between Sydney's and vertical access, probably 100 meters from access, where there's a large scotia just to the south of the road and some mud wallows. He's going to pop up around there. And take Sandy Patch. Hold on, we're going to do some log hopping. There we go. Oh, we're going to have to do a little bit more speed. Liam, you ready? There we go. Hey, mister. So a big Safari Live welcome to Getherson, who's a brand spanking new viewer and wondering, why does this lion let me drive so close to it? Why does it let me follow it? Well, there's a couple of reasons. These lions have grown up with safari vehicles around them, and they do not have an instinctive response to safari vehicles. So if I had to walk up to him, he would probably run away during the day, and at night he would try to eat me. But a car smells like, our car smells like petrol. and oil. Oh, there we go, he's in the scent mark. And as long as you drive respectfully and you don't cross that personal space boundary with them, they pretty much ignore the vehicles, which enables us to take you on these incredible safaris following some of Africa's most large and wonderful animals. So it looks like he's going to pop out almost exactly where Mr. Tingana had that warthog kill a couple of days ago. You okay, Vim? Okay. He's taking us through a bit of a bad spot. We have to do some quick maneuvering so we don't lose him. Dearie me, where are we going to get through here? I'm just trying to find a gap to get through to the road. Oh, that would have been very close. Kevin? Is he running?
No, he just looked at me.
Scent marking, but he's been spotted by Impala. Oh, sorry, Bam. We're nearly there. Now listen to this. Listen to all these alarm calls. Now, we heard monkeys saying, lion, lion, lion earlier. Now we got Impala doing the same thing. I think he smelt the remnants of that carcass Tingana was feeding on. This is exactly where he had that warthog kill. He might roll in the nice rotten smell. Once an animal's been spotted in alarm calls like this, the hunt's sort of over. It was so funny. There was an impala right around that bush, and as the lion walked around it, he got a bit of fright. Mike coming. Mike, I would come a bit faster. He's now in the block, heading sort of straight south along those mud wallows from that big scotia. So Sheila says, cat a day today. Yes, so far it is. What a fantastic start to the sunrise safari, Sheila. think he might be heading towards where we had the tracks of that other male this morning. Listen to those impalas, they're going bananas. Now, two males have got confused and are actually chasing each other, and that's impala rutting. So when this happens, sometimes they get very silly and might run straight into a lion. They almost seem to forget. Mike, we're now getting close to Triple M. So just a quick update on Commander Bond. Unfortunately, it seems like the gremlins have invaded him so far this morning, so he has headed back for the tech team to try a few tricks. We'll see what happens. Hopefully he'll be back with us shortly. Oh. Gilly has said those impalas were shouting lion, lion, just slightly different to the wildebeest and Billy Connolly. He's crossing out of our traverse area, I'm afraid. So I'm afraid we're going to see his bottom disappear. Stations as Wanunangala has crossed Triple M into Simbambili, just to the west of Wanaipan. We're just going to stay here in case he decides to come back. Stations in the west, do you copy? Single Birmingham's just crossed over Triple M, just to the west of Wanaipan, heading sort of southwest into the block. I'll drop a branch to mark it for you guys. So I was hoping he might loop back, but doesn't look like it. I'm just going to drop a branch so the guys from the west know exactly where he crossed, so they can follow up. You still see him there? No, he disappeared. Yeah, that looks like a useful branch. So this is how we mark for other vehicles. So whether it's for tracks or for where a sighting is. So Cheryl in California wonders, are the cameramen strapped in, or do they have to hold on for dear life? Well, they hold on for dear life, Cheryl. Let's see if we can maybe get one last glimpse as he disappears, but I think he has gone too far. He's heading, oh, is that him there? Nope. So the other male we tracked this morning actually just went straight south down this road. Okay, so unfortunately for us, that's the end of the line. He's crossed to the western sectors. So I'm just going to find a spot to turn around. And we'll go see if we can find any more sign of those Nkahuma ladies. So you guys, just giving an update here on the Game Drive channel. Stations I've dropped Combriton branch where that Wanuna Gala crossed. I'm going to head back to the north, follow up on Bonzo and Gormers. Good luck. Okay, let's carry on. We're going to head straight back into that last area where we were trying to figure out which way the Nkahumas were going. I do have a sneaky suspicion that they crossed into the north into Buffelshoek, but that doesn't mean they might loop back round south. Stations that Wanunangala has crossed into Sibambili, just to the west of Wanaipan. I'm leaving the area, going to follow up on last tracks with Nkahumas around Sydney's Mati. Deja vu. Feels like we were just here. I have another question again from a Ninja Fuzzy Kid. Fuzzy Kitty wondering how long do lions live for? Lionesses in the wild are normally about 14 to 15 years old. Males 12 to 13, even probably 12 is a very old male lion. So there's a lot more competition amongst the males and the females in terms of for territories and home ranges. In captivity they can live over 20 years, but in the wild where it's a bit more tough and lots of competition, but you're looking at about 15 years for females and about 12 years for males. Sorry about that, that's just a little bit of a bad signal area there. So it looks like we threw it. So as I was saying, sort of male lions, oh, go squirrel. Djuma. At least it wasn't a suicidal squirrel like last night. We literally decided to do that almost under our tires. But lion coalitions generally only have about four years at the top. There's a very important reason for this. It's to ensure that they don't mate with their own daughters. So it's a sort of a thing, but occasionally, occasionally they will happen, but lions are able to inbreed for quite a few generations before any negative impact on their genetic line. There's a track of a lioness going at quite some speed here. So the Nkahumas could still be around. Am I too close for him?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's a running track, or jogging, probably better described than running. There it is. And you can see how the edges aren't very defined and how it's actually hit the ground with a bit of pace. So it looks like the same size as a male lion, but that's because it's a female and she's run through that soft sand. So the incumbents could... very close eye on what's going here, so I apologize if I'm not looking at you. My head is constantly down. So we're moving out of this slightly shaky signal area, and we'll keep moving out of this area. So we're just checking above and beyond where we saw those last tracks heading to the south, just to make sure they haven't split up or looped back or hyena tracks, but I'm not in search of hyenas just yet. While I'm got my head to the ground looking for tracks, I'll answer a question from Natasha in Ontario. Natasha would like to know, how high can a lion jump, and do male lions jump higher than females? I've seen a female probably jump 2 meters in the air or so, but I definitely would say females can jump higher than males, just purely because they're lighter. A male lion is so heavy it's quite difficult for him to jump too high, but they can jump, and females probably a little bit better than the males. There's been lots of ellies around here, which is making life a little difficult in terms of tracking there. A big herd of elephants can quite easily obliterate the tracks of the pride lions. Mark, I've only got a single track of a lioness coming back onto Vuya's. I'd check around Hardicle access that area for incomas. Copy, thanks. So that single track of a lioness definitely running going this way, but the majority of the tracks have crossed into Buffel's Hook. So I'll just have a quick squiz here. But I'm pretty sure if they didn't actually make that kill, they would have turned around and gone and joined the rest of them. Okay, no, nada, looks nothing here, so we're going to move on. So Siberia is wondering, how much home range or territory can a male coalition claim? It all depends on the coalition and how many individuals, how many prides of females are available. The Birminghams are currently probably sitting around 15, maybe a bit more than that, maybe closer to 20,000 hectares, which is quite big. But for example, the Mapoho coalition at one stage were controlling around 45,000 hectares. And there's a little diker sleeping here. He might run. Hello, little boy. So quite often they disappear. This one is pretending we haven't seen it yet. Hello, little diker. Oh, shame. I can just see him moving his legs like he's about to run, so we don't want to disturb him just yet. Just leave him be. A little Grimm's bush diker. So what we will do is we're going to check further down to the east. Maybe those lions have come back. They quite often do that, go for a loop. They don't seem to go too far north at the moment because of the Salati males and the Talamati females. But with the Birminghams being up in that area and causing some havoc there, maybe they're feeling safe to move further north again. See, it's already really bright. It's going to be quite a warm day, and that exquisite morning light is sort of fading into that sort of bright African sunshine at the moment. So it seems like the tech geniuses have beaten down the gremlins, and James and Brian are back out on the road. So let's go see what they've been up to.
Well, what we've been up to, everybody, is basically sitting about the place waiting for Eugene and Connor. Connor, of course, bleary-eyed and still in his pajamas, to put the new aerial cable on Rusty. So that's why we lost you, I'm afraid. The aerial cable, just through wear and tear, I'm afraid, snapped. So that has now been fixed. And we are on the trail of the hyenas. Those, of course, are not hyenas at all. They are impala. And there's a huge herd of them here, frolicking about in the morning light in this grassland that is the quarantine clearings. Just a really lovely picture there of them enjoying the safety of the clearing, because they can see what might want to come and eat them. And also, of course, they're enjoying their breakfast of fresh green sprouts of delicious grass. The only other thing I would like to show you here, Brian, in this tree is a little black bird. You see in the apple leaf, leaning over tree over there. That's the one. That's the one. If you just zoom straight in there, you'll get him.
Yeah, I can't see it.
Just keep going. That horizontal branch to the left, halfway up the trunk, that's him. He's in there. That's it, you got it. There's just a fork-tailed drongo, and he too is enjoying the morning light, and just nipping around, gleaning insects, hawking a few of them. And all is a peace and marvelousness out here in the wild. Now, the update on the hyenas, excuse the light is bright in my eyes, is that the drag mark went straight across this road, then it crossed over the Gallagher shortcut. We did check Aubrey's Road, which is the next road along, didn't find it crossing there. We did find where some elephants had been, so the elephants could have kind of gone over the tracks. We're not sure though. Let me turn Leo Smith off. And so I think it's probably worth us spending a little bit more time trying to find those, and let's see what happens. Maybe we'll find the den. That block is not particularly big, so we're just going to drive up there and have a little look and see. Because, of course, to be without the hyena den is deeply distressing for me and many of you as well. Hello, Dave in New Jersey. you're still waiting to see a snake. Well, Dave, you're in a minority because most people, of course, are terrified out of their wits by snakes. And you say, is it a possibility? Yes, it most certainly is a possibility. Bush is quite thick, but there are lots of snakes around. I saw one on my way in here the other day, a Mozambican spitting cobra. They're quite common, not unusual for us to find them around camp. Black mamba's pretty common. A puff adder should be quite common. I haven't seen one here, although one or two people have. I haven't seen one. Brown house snakes, worm-stung tree snakes, vine snakes, spotted bush snakes. So there are a lot around the place, and hopefully we'll see some for you, Dave. Most common snake, I don't know what it would be here actually. It would probably be something like one of the sort of shovel-nosed burrowing snakes or something like that. Little ones we don't often see. Now I will show you where the drag mark that these hyenas walked across. Now for those of you who don't know what that means, a drag mark is basically if you were to take a pillow or a sack and drag it along the ground, you would leave a mark. Now the same goes for a hyena that is dragging some piece of impala or perhaps a kudu or maybe something even larger along the ground. It leaves a mark. You know it's a hyena that's left it, of course, because there are hyena tracks next to the mark. Now, just over here, up ahead, you will be able to see what I mean. They'll pop out just over here. They go up through there. That's right. They've gone up through there. You can see a game path there. I don't know actually if you'll be able to see any drag mark on it, but that's where they've gone. It has gone. And let me just pop out the car quickly and let's see if we can find some sign. Yeah, so they came along here. Having come, you can see the path just down sort of into the sun, and they came along here dragging whatever it was, and then they came out onto the road, and we've driven up and down here of course a few times so you can't see it anymore, but they dragged whatever it was onto the road here and then pulled it across into here. And you can just see very light scrapes. I don't think you'll be able to see them, but light scrapes through here. So I suspect that they've gone along this game path here. Now, the other thing we did was we heard that call that they often make at the den, that call that goes, ooh, ooh, you know when the mothers are trying to bring their youngsters out of the burrow, out of the dens. So they could be around here. Anyway, I think we'll keep having a look. Of course, if we want to use sound to find them, this is not going to be a particularly good time of the day. It's starting to get hot already, and so things are going to quieten down, and I think you'll find that the den will go to sleep. Anyway, I'm hopeful that they're still on the reserve and that they haven't gone north into Buffelshoek. That was Brent's fear, and I think it's quite a good one because there were lots of tracks going to and from, but of course that's because Sydney's dam is nearby and there's always lots of activity there. Anyway, that's the story with the hyenas at the moment. What's that? Spiderweb. Spiderweb. Oh, that's very kind of Brent Leo Smith. He says he's giving me 2 days to find the hyenas before he finds them. That sounds A, like fighting talk, and B, like a whole lot of nonsense, because of course he's hedging his bets. If I do find it, then he's lost nothing. If he then finds it, well then he gains everything, of course. Now I'm pretty sure that they're still around here. There are hyena tracks on the road, but I mean you're going to find hyena tracks all over the place after night anyway. So that's the story with the hyenas. I do need to go on there on foot if I'm going to find them, so I think what we'll do is leave them for now because we're not going to hear much noise from them. And let's go on and just check the southern boundary. see what's happening over there. It's just so lovely to see all of this grass and all of the flowers that the grass flowers that the rain has brought. But the one thing about that, of course, is that it brings tremendous amounts of pollen. And pollen, for some of us, is something of an irritation in the nasal passages. So I have found that my nose is streaming somewhat. Brian also suffers from the odd allergy. Not so, Brian?
Yep.
Poor old Brian.
Thanks.
It's okay. We'll get over it.
No, we'll survive.
We'll survive.
We'll push on.
We'll push on, forge ahead. What I'd like to show you is just the great swathe of them. Lots of different species of grass, and I think that grass in a garden is a brilliant idea. Simply because it does produce the most beautiful flowers. I mean, look at this one, sitting in the light here. Chloris roxburghiana. Apart from its name, look at it shining there in the dawn light. Stunning. And just below that, a white flower, which I think is a trachyandra of some sort. I'm not really sure. Oh, a brilliant viewer, and I forget exactly whom it was, yesterday pointed out that the tiny white flower that I found, that's the trachyandra, I think, the tiny white flower that I found yesterday was in fact Oldenlandia. Now most of you will have forgotten that because it wasn't particularly distinctive, but I'll try and find another one. Oldenlandia. And then one more grass plant, just a little bit forward. There, this one here, with the fingers, unsurprisingly called Digitaria, which means basically fingers. Digitaria eriantha. And you can see there, if you look carefully, the little black bits on the end of those little flowers, each of those little pieces on those digitate stalks is a flower. And each of them produces a little stamen which is filled with pollen. And there's even a little spider's web there. Isn't that beautiful? So that's Digitaria eriantha. Very good grazing grass. Indicates that the rangeland here is healthy and supporting, or could support, many animals. And indeed it does. If we drive around quarantine clearings, lots and lots of different animals there. So we're going to go down to the south, see if we can't pick up some tracks of the infamous Muscarula. Of course, it is now the 2nd of April, so if we find those cubs, there's no reason for us not to be viewing them at this stage. They're now 2 months old. Well, 1 day off, 2 months old. But I think they are probably still to the south of the boundary. Interesting question that I'm going to answer from Charlotte and Port Elizabeth shortly, but just watch what's going on here with this. Now, what you have here is a ram impala who has not learned that this is the wrong time to be setting up his territory. So you can see him there going, oh, oh, oh. There's a male running off in the background, and these females are now being herded by him. You can see they were standing looking a little bit alarmed on top of the termite mound. And what he's doing is trying to herd them. Now, they will all come into estrus, of course, in the middle of May, but there's no ways he will be able to maintain a territory until then, because he's not even eating now. All he's thinking about is fighting off rivals and keeping them within a territory, which means that he's going to start losing condition. And when he does that, he becomes weaker, and eventually he's going to be replaced by a stronger male. So if you want to mate, as I've said, and I will say this over the next little while, if you're an impala and you want to mate, you have got to time it exactly so that when you are, when the females are receptive, which is a very short period in the middle of May, you have your territory set up exactly at that time. So this male impala is wasting his time at the moment. enjoying the fresh grasses. And Charlotte, sorry, I forgot about your question there. The geckos, you say, do we get geckos here? We do, and you want to know what their habitat is. Their habitat is basically on my wall in my room, and Brian's wall as well, I'm sure. But they also occur in similar kind of structures around here. So by similar kinds of structures, I mean on trees. We sometimes find them on trees, well, largely on trees, I guess, very seldom on the ground. I've seen a few of them on termite mounds, but that's where you'd find a gecko. Now, you also want to know why it is that their dung or defecant is white. Why is it white in color? You'll notice, Charlotte, that it's actually very similar to that of birds. That's, of course, because they are quite closely related. And it's white because I actually don't know exactly why it's white, but it's liquid and the same color as birds because it comes out of the same opening. There's only one opening in the reptile and the bird, and that's called the cloaca. And urine and feces comes out of the same hole and in the same motion. So it's all kind of mixed together. Why it's white, I actually don't know. I can only think that it comes perhaps from the keratin, except keratin isn't really white, but maybe it's from the keratin of the insects that they eat. They, of course, are predators and they will hunt things like flies, thankfully. Not enough of them, in my opinion, but they eat that sort of thing, and maybe it's the keratin, which is indigestible, that eventually turns white in the feces and the urine. But I'm actually not sure why it's white. But it is the same, feces and urine come out of the same opening in the same kind of action, same motion as it does with birds. Reptiles and birds, of course, well, while not closely related, are slightly more closely related than we are, for example, to birds or to reptiles. Lots and lots of elephant tracks around, and of course they will obscure any other tracks. Now, this hyena, if you look down the road here, everybody, you will see a lot of tire tracks, but you will also see there, just over the top of my finger, a line. And on the line you can see some tracks of hyenas. There's one, there's another one. That is the drag mark. Now, we're a long way from where we originally started following it. We're also a long way from where we originally left it, going across the Gallagher shortcut. So whatever this was has been dragged a very long way, and it's been crossed over by elephants a few times. Not so much here, but certainly further up where we were trying to actually follow it. So that's quite interesting. I mean, this indicates that it's the dominant female, or certainly one of the dominant females, that's dragging something back to the den. We know, of course, that subdominant females will not usually drag these things back towards a den site, simply because they'll have it stolen by more dominant members. But it will be interesting to know what's at the end of this, and perhaps she stole it from a leopard. I think that's quite likely, actually, unless it was the piece of something off a lion killed. Let's follow it down. We're still on the back end of this drag mark now. I must say, it seemed to get less and less distinct the closer towards the north we went, and maybe whoever this hyena was snacking on bits and pieces of it as she went.